Yo, greetings. This is Chief Kalinago. So what go on? All right. So like I said, I was trying to do this live earlier. For some reason, I was having a little bit of issues, but anyway, I think we should be good for now, right? So I'm not gonna make this too long. I just want to come on here and share this message real quick. All right. Of course, I'm here in Jamaica, and yesterday, like I told y'all, I went underneath the mango trees and I got me some mangoes, about 40 to 50 mangoes. And today went under the mango tree again, another 40, 50 mangoes. So I'm saying all that to say, man, we have to go back to nature. All right. Is the only way we are going to preserve ourselves. We have to go back to nature. You see, people don't realize, I keep telling people, it doesn't matter what type of life that you live. Nature is going to force you to go back to nature because all the only truth that exists is nature. You see what I'm saying? So all the AI and all what you think the government they're doing with the foods and whatever you think they're doing with the air and everything, right? Nature is going to force you to go back to nature, whether you like it or not. So with that being said, we were taken away from nature. So we have to go back to nature. So you could do it. You don't have to do it incrementally. You see what I'm saying? Start changing your life slowly. It doesn't mean that you have to get into it full throttle. You know what I mean? Because we have been so, once again, so taken away from nature that we need to start making our way back gradually. Okay. It is really that simple. But anyway, this is not the message that I want to talk about. I want to talk about, all right, about what the people you call black, right? The Negroes. That's what I want to talk about. Hey, Sister Valerie. And actually, Sister Valerie, you're one of the people that I saw that made a post. That's why, and it's not just you. I've seen that from a few people. And I wanted to come and, just do a build on that. Do a build, right? Not necessarily, of course, I'm not coming at you, but I just wanted to enlighten you because it can be a little bit stressful. Okay. It can be a little bit stressful trying to worry about why so-called black people aren't coming together. Well, okay, let me just share some insight, on this with you, my dear sister. And I have so much respect and love for you because my sister Valerie and I, we go way back, right? But like I said, I see that post on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everybody's always asking so-called black people to come together. Grand Rising lineage, all right. But let me just share something with y'all. So-called black people as a whole, they are not supposed to come together. Okay, why? Because what we have to realize is the first black devils, like I said, the first black devils were people who look just like us. Okay, it's a duality thing, and not each and every one of us came through the same spiritual umbilical cord. Not each and every one of us came through what you call, the same spiritual lineage or clan or tribe. You have to make that up. Okay, you have to make that up. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna try to head out to Kingston, sometime either Friday or Saturday. You know what I mean? Because from where I'm at, I'm actually in Westmoreland. It's close to 4 hours. You know what I mean? So I got try to make my way out there. But anyway, going back to the subject matter, right? So what we need to do is focus on how do we connect to our spiritual nation, our spiritual tribe. That is the focus right now in 2023 moving forward. Why? Because like I told y'all before, we had 7 root races and Noah was the 6th root race, meaning that he had to create a whole new race, which was actually that the human beings, mankind had to come from his tribe, okay, or from his people, okay. So with that being said, this new race that have to be created, it's going to be created in the Americas. And like I tell people, I'm going to prove to you that life originated, man originated in the Americas. And where it started, that's where it's going to end. So the last the last root race is going to be in the Americas. So when we go back to 1492, it were people who looked just like us, who came here, who posed as our brothers. We broke bread with them. Okay. We opened up our doors to them. And they were the ones who raped, pillaged, murdered, okay, our women, our children, our men. They even sodomized our children. But I'm talking about people who look just like us. They were pedophilias, okay? They were homosexuals. Like, you see, that's the thing with my people, right? And I'm talking about people of color, period. This is the problem, y'all. Y'all always want to claim the good, but never want to claim the bad. You always want to claim the God, but never want to claim the devil. You feel me? And a lot of Moors do that shit. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to keep it real gully. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what y'all do. The Moors, the Moors and what you call it, the Black Moors, that whole category with the Sephardic Jews, the Melungeons. Y'all came here. Y'all think I don't know y'all history? I know y'all history. Y'all are not originated from the Americas. I know that, period. So no matter how you try to tell me America is Iraq and all that stuff is made up. Okay, that's an illusion that you're creating. Y'all came here to destroy my people. Now, I'm not saying people can't change. But what I'm saying is when y'all came here, y'all lost y'all power, y'all greed. Okay, yes, y'all did a lot of great things in Europe and you always brag about that. But what happened to all the all the societies you went into Africa and destroyed, in Europe and destroyed? How come you're not telling the world that it was your people, the Muslims, Moslems, you went into Alexandria and burned down the library? Why don't you tell the people it was you who did that? You see what I'm saying? So y'all always want to talk about the great and how great y'all was, but what happened to the destructive side of you? You feel me? So the point I'm making is stop asking everybody that looks so-called what you call black to come together. It's not going to happen. This is about righteous and unrighteousness. It ain't got nothing to do with skin color, because it was people who look just like us who came here. Of course, some of them varied in terms of complexion. Some of them were darker, some of them were lighter, but a lot of them had this mixed eyes because a lot of them were mixed. Okay, but of course the heavy melanin was predominant. You dig? It was predominant. So I'm talking about, yes, the Irish, the Italian, the Huguenots, from France. I'm talking about the Sephardic Jews from Scotland. Also, what they did was they gave the crown to their Semitic children, which are the Semitic Jews. So y'all have no idea. A lot of you have no idea in the Americas what took place. So you just think everybody's the same. We're all brothers. Okay, and we should all get along. It's not going to happen. That's why there has to be a purge, and there's going to be a purge. Okay, and people don't realize the purge, it may happen through governments, but it's going to happen for the most part. It's going to be a spiritual purge because nature is going to get rid of the unrighteous people. Nature is going to burn them out. Okay, nature is going to burn them out. So I'm not even worried about that. But what I'm saying is to the people who call themselves black and Negroes, be very mindful of the people you are asking to come together. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that some of our ancestors or many of our ancestors in the Americas did not partake in this same destruction as well, because they did. When these foreigners came here, okay, the Sephardic Jews, okay, the conquistadors, the Moors, the Black Moors, when they came here in 1492, of course, they came in as brothers first. So they deceived. The deception, okay, was real. So they deceived our people and got them into a whole different mindset. They sold them the dream. And when they sold them the dream, a lot of our chiefs and K6, okay, they got into that whole commercial state of mind. And they themselves started enslaving their own people. Okay, they started enslaving their own people. The first slave trade in the Americas were American Indians being enslaved. Well, first it was Amerindians, that's what they called. And then later they broke up the two words, and it's now American Indian. But at first it was just Amerindian. Okay. It wasn't until later that you had a few popes and Isabella. I'm talking about years later when they had a soft spot for the Indians, and they said, okay, you know what, we got to stop enslaving the Indians. And then what they started doing, they started enslaving their pale subjects. And then when they started enslaving their pale subjects could not take on the toll of the work, the brunt of the heavy work in the plantations. So what they started doing, they started bringing black Europeans here as indentured servants. It wasn't Africans. Don't let nobody fool you. That whole African slave trade is a lie. Those black people came from Europe, son. They were original Europeans. They were not from Africa. I promise you, the majority of us in the Americas, our lineage, we have more in common in terms of DNA with Europeans than Africans. Okay, and that's facts. And I ain't got nothing against Africa. I'm just letting you know the reason why they put everybody in the category of telling you that you're African. Why? Because they associated Africa with black and they associated black with slave. That's why they put everybody in a box and say you are Africans. Okay, but I guarantee you the majority of the people in the Americas, the indigenous original Americans, we have more mixed DNA with Europeans. And I'm not talking about Caucasian or pale Europeans. I'm talking about these black devils who came here. Okay, they were the ones who came here and mixed in with us. And they were the ones who came here not as slaves. They did not come as slaves. They came as indentured servants. Don't let nobody fool you. But because as time went on, they started changing the narrative of people of color, start calling them slaves, and the pale people, they call them indentured servants. So every time you do research, you'll always see that so-called white people, and I'm saying so-called white because they're not white, all right? But so-called white people, you'll always see them as indentured servants. However, anytime you have a color, you of color, they call you a slave. Okay, so automatically, anytime you were considered to be colored, that was associated with slave. But I want you to know this for a fact, that all the names that we have, the Washingtons, the Adams, I'm talking about all those names you think that came from a so-called white slave master. No, it came from these black devils. They were the slave masters. You see, you guys got to stop living this illusion, man. Stop living this illusion. Every skin folk is not kinfolk, man. Stop asking every so-called black individual or people, let's come together. No, that's not going to happen. And the truth hurts, but I have to give it to you. It's not going to happen. So the only way to know them and the only way to identify them is through their actions. You have to get into your spiritual bag to identify these devils, because they are very, very, they are slick, okay? And they know how to shape shift. And I'm talking about in terms of shifting their energy, because that's what they did in 1492, okay? They knew about witchcraft. They knew about spells. And it's not like as if we didn't know it in the Americas. We knew it, but we were using that for good. They were using it for bad. That was the difference. So you have to realize the spiritual lineage, or the spiritual, what I call umbilical cord, or the spiritual nation that you came from, compared to the people that came here as well. Because like I said before, you're always claiming to be God's kings and queens, but not realizing that the devil was also a god. And all that stuff, of course, is symbolic. It's allegory. Okay. It is. So that's why when you realize in the allegorical Bible, when, the Lord, was able to talk to Satan, when the sons of God went to talk to the Lord, and the Lord asked Satan, yo, where you was at? Satan said, yo, I was just chilling, going around the earth and doing my thing. Because why? Satan was a god. And all Satan means is adversary. That's all it means. Satan doesn't mean, like I was saying earlier, Satan doesn't mean a man in hell with a pitchfork, and with a red outfit looking for souls. No, that's not what it means, man. It is man and woman that manifest Satan or God. You are the ones that bring life to God or the devil, okay? And these people were devils when they came here. Even before they came here, they were devils, okay? You don't believe me? I don't want you to believe me. Go do your own research. Go do your own due diligence. Don't believe anything that I say, because in the word believe is lie. Okay, it's lie. And I don't do belief systems. I deal with the no. So go back. You see, the problem is y'all don't know European history. That's the problem. Go see all the plagues that was hitting Europe. Okay, go see all the plagues that was hitting Europe. I'm talking about the Black Death, the famine. Plagues did not stop hitting Europe until the 19th century, because these people were evil. And I'm talking, yes, to these black devils. So stop thinking it's the pale man. Stop thinking that. That's why black and pale, black means pale. They are the same people. They are their children. Okay? Black means pale. They came from the same bloodline. They came from the same womb. That's why when they were losing their power, they had to give the illusion and pass it on to their children, because their children were the ones to inherit. Okay? The inheritance had to be passed on to their children. You guys keep wondering, well, how come did the pale man come on top? Yes, that's why they had to hand it over to them. But make no mistake, they are still the ones in power. They are still the founding fathers. The founding fathers were men of color. Don't let nobody fool you. Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, they were all people of color, even before the United States was created. And I've been telling y'all that for years now. Go look back at my videos. This is nothing new. It's only now I see people doing this and talking about it like it's something new. I've been talking about that for years, teaching that. People thought I was crazy, but now it's all coming to light because more information is out. Okay, like I said, man, I've been doing this. I've been telling y'all, you know, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, all those people, they were people of color for years. I've been telling you this. So even before the United States was created, the 13 colonies, it was men of color that created that. They came from Europe, particularly the Scotland Highlanders. Okay? They were the Stuarts. They were the Tudors. And I hear a couple of people on YouTube talking about Harriet Tubman was not real. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Harriet Tubman was real. She was real. But she was not the African slave y'all think she was. No, she was not freeing African slaves. She was freeing the nobility that was her family. She was freeing the Stuart nobility. That's what she was protecting and freeing. You see, a lot of people don't know because they don't do enough deep research. And she took a lot of her siblings and her cousins and moved them to Canada. But of course, the indigenous people of the Americas had to show them the railway, the underpass, the underground, because we were over. It's our land. Of course, we're going to know. All right. And then what she did, she rescued 70 of her own family. But what she did was she she paved the way for another 70, just that was not related to her, just in case they wanted to also come. You feel me? But Harriet Tubman was freeing the nobility, the Stuart nobility. Harriet Tubman was real. She wasn't made up like a lot of you YouTube scholars want to think she was. No, she was not. She was real. Okay, she was a Ross, R-O-S-S. She came from the Ross clan. She was a Highlander of Scotland. She was a Sephardic Jew. Okay? So stop with the, well, you know, black people, we got to come together. No, we are not going to come together. In fact, I don't want to come together with everybody. It's not going to happen. As long as there's duality, okay, as long as there's evil, okay, trust me, those people who first came here to be the evil ones, that is their purpose for manifesting. That is their purpose for manifesting. They came here to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's why nature had to keep destroying them in Europe. Go look it up. Go see how many Europeans died from the Black Plague. Over 100 million of them. And don't think it was pale people. Don't let them fool you and make you think it was pale people. No. It was Europeans on a whole. Go look at the farming. Go look at all those skin diseases they used to get. The pox. Even when they came here and they brought the smallpox, they're talking about, oh well, the American Indians, the Europeans brought blankets for the American Indians, and they all was wiped out from smallpox. That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay, it was their people that was dying from smallpox. It was their people. It wasn't us. Okay, it wasn't us, it was their people, because they were the ones that came here with the smallpox in their body. It wasn't in no blankets. Okay? Well, anyway, like I said, whatever Larry Carter, whatever you are, I got my proof. So guess what? I guess I guess you must be one of the colonizers that came from that bloodline, huh? That's why you're about to get blocked. Okay, you hear what he said? Look. I'm not qualified. Let me tell you, I'm well studied, you fool. All right. That's why you finna get blocked. You see what I'm saying? Those people, they're very dangerous people, man. Okay. They're very dangerous people. Okay. So we have to be mindful with these people that's coming on here. They don't know what they're talking about. Okay. They don't know what they're talking about. What you mean? I'm not qualified to talk about European history. I guarantee you don't know it better than me. I promise you that. I promise you that. Okay. Because y'all want to come here in the Americas and give us this illusion like everybody is the same. Okay. This pale man did not take over until the 1800s, when the United States was given to him. Okay, and it was given to him what you call via the Constitution, and it wasn't even the first Constitution. The first Constitution was which was the Bill of Rights, which was for the 13 colonies, and then it had to be ratified. That was the switch when they created the corporation for their pale children. So what you talking about, Larry? You fool! Get out of here, man! You can't tell me what I know to be a fact. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with y'all people, man? You're about to be blocked, son. And those are the people that we have to be mindful of. Again, let me show you his comment. I blocked him anyway. Okay, you are not qualified to speak on European history. You are full of lies. You are not indigenous to Turtle Island. You see, there you go. This type of people. You feel me? Those type of people. Let me tell y'all something. I'm more indigenous than a whole lot of y'all that's talking about y'all indigenous. You feel me? A whole lot. So don't come here play with me, man. A bunch of haters. The truth hurts. That's the problem. The truth hurts. Let it keep hurting. Okay, let it keep hurting. But I promise you, a lot of you that on here screaming American Indian, I'm more American Indian than y'all. I promise you. The further back you go into antiquity doing your research, you'll realize that the American Indians, the majority of them look like Negroes. Okay? Look like Negroes. Look like Negroes. And I'm talking about dark-skinned Negroes. All right? So don't let me get into the whole dark skin versus light skin thing. Let's not even get into that because I don't want to play this game. But I'm just letting y'all know, the further back you go into antiquity, you'll realize that the American Indians were a Negroid stock people. Okay? A brunette, dark brown people. Okay? Dark brown people. You did. So stop playing the games, man. Stop playing the games. All right? Y'all want to come here and play these games and, oh, well, now that you see the truth is being exposed now about Europe. You see, a lot of people wasn't on game. So what I had to do now, I had to start digging into European history because the story that they were giving us in the Americas, it just wasn't making any sense. So for years, I've been digging into European history. Digging. That's how I know what they did. I know when they did it, and I know why they did it. Okay? Go look at the Black Plague. Go look at the famines. Go look at all the diseases that they were catching. Why? Because of their evil ways. Nature was hitting them back hard, and they just couldn't comprehend why was all of this happening. Why was this happening? It was because of their evil ways, their evil deeds. Okay? The universal gods was murdering them. So when they came into the Americas, all right, hold on for a second. So when they came into the Americas, they saw the Garden of Eden. They saw the Garden of Eden when they came into the Americas. Okay, they saw the Promised Land when they came into the Americas. Okay, because we had everything in abundance. We had everything in abundance. Okay, we did not work. Okay, we ate of the land. So that's why I'm telling my people, we got to get back to that. That's the unity that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the righteous unity. And of course, we can't do it alone because we have adopted, okay, these other ethnic groups or other nations that came into our land. But we have to start seeping through, okay, so that we could find the righteous ones. You feel me? You did. So once again, like I said, man, don't matter how they talk. Y'all could talk about as much as y'all want. Okay. Even the United States even know who I am. Okay. Because they know. The United States know who I am. Like I told y'all before, I went to the Social Security office. I updated my nationality as American Indian. They never gave me a problem. Okay. They never gave me a problem. I went to the immigration. Guess what? I updated my race. Guess what? They never said, "Oh, well, you're not American Indian." How is that? They never told me I was not American Indian. But you see, you idiots, something is really wrong with y'all. You see, they know more than you. That's the problem. But y'all are just a bunch of haters. That's all it is. It's just a bunch of haters, and y'all can't touch me. I'm protected. I'm that indigenous son. Okay, original American bad boy. And any one of y'all want to test me, come test me. You feel me? You see, y'all don't know. Don't let that Indian blood come out of me, man, because I'm not the one to be played with. You feel me? So go pull up my records in the United States. Okay, in what's called Homeland Security or whatever the case is. Go pull it up and then see what my race is. It's gonna say American Indian, and guess what? Not once they ever questioned that. Not once they ever questioned that. When I was getting ready to travel, when I went to immigration department, what was it? What was your race? I said American Indian. They checked it, and boom. So what y'all talking about, man? Go argue with them. Don't argue with me. Go argue with them. Apparently, they know who I am. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. You know, Gata. You know, we good. We good. But I'm just saying for these haters, man, y'all always want to come test me. Don't test me, man. Trust me. Don't test me. Period. Don't test me, bro. No. And like I said before, I have substantial facts, okay, of who I am. And I told y'all before, I did a rare genes test, okay? And I'm a direct lineage from Akhenaten on both sides of my family, both sides of my mother and my father's side. So when I tell you I came from royalty, I came from royalty, fam. Okay? And guess what? That is a certified private DNA test that came from the mummy, the tomb of Akhenaten. That's real DNA. So don't play with me. That's real DNA. And I got the proof of that. And what I'm going to do is when I come back into the United States, either I might do it before I go to Dominica or after I come back. But I'm going to go to the Yucatan, and I'm going to go to the Akhenaten and show y'all Akhenaten was actually in the Americas. I'm going to show you that Harry was in the Americas. I'm going to show you that Osiris was in the Americas. I'm going to show you all that. All of Chicago, all of the Yucatan, going through back, Chicago, going back, passing certain parts of the Mississippi. All that stuff was Egypt, for those of you who don't know. And I saw a video floating around talking about the Egypt that was in Chicago, and they're showing a lot of people of color with turbans in the 1800s. That is true. They were there with turbans in the 1800s, but they were not indigenous. Okay, those were the Melungeons, the Moors, and the Blackamoors that came into Egypt in the 1800s. All up until the 1800s, Chicago was still part of Egypt, and the whole city was different. Those buildings you see, all they did was just restructured them. We had camels in the Americas. My brothers and sisters, do you truly know your history? You see what I'm saying? Oh, Gata, trust me, I'm good for now, brother. Like I said, when I get back, I'm going to get back into my bag and do the nation building. And the nation building is not just only going to be in the United States. It's going to be all over the Americas, because too many of my brothers and sisters in the United States, man, y'all are just lost. Okay, y'all are lost. A lot of people get it, but y'all are lost thinking that the United States alone is America. No, America is a continent, you fools. Okay, it's a continent. It's a continent. It's like going to, it's like going to Zimbabwe and telling somebody from Angola, oh, well, you're not African. How does that sound? You feel me? How does that sound? So I'm going to get back into the nation building, but not just within the United States. I'm going to start uniting the entire Americas. And that's why I'm doing my traveling. I'm building, linking with people so I could do this and make this happen. Like I said, man, y'all don't know who I am. You're going to learn. You're going to learn. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Yucatan and prove to you and show you all of that and show you how long these tombs were here. All right. And this private DNA test was done from the tomb of Akhenaten, the mummy of Akhenaten. And guess what? On both my mother and my father's side, they are related. So I came from, and we had to intermarry to keep our bloodline pure. So have some respect when y'all talking, man. Have some respect. So when you're trying to figure out what Akhenaten looked like, trust me, when you see my picture, you see an image of Akhenaten. So don't play these games with me. Like I said, that's my blood. Real blood. So y'all gonna learn. So stop asking every so-called black person for us to get along. It's not going to happen. You're always going to have the disagreeables. All right. And even American Aborigines, a lot of them adapted this, this what you call disagreeable ways. So they got fed and pulled into that type of energy. That's why they were able to assist those black devils in destroying their own people. They do it today with the music. Those are American Aborigines. They are you know what I'm saying? They are American Aborigines, but what? They use the music to destroy their own people. All right. They go around the communities gang banging against their own people. You did. So every skinfolk and kinfolk. But like I said, what we have to realize in this seventh round of the root race, it is not about skin. It's about a spiritual race. All right. And that's the last race that's going to manifest. But it has to be in the Americas. Even it has to be in the Americas. Europe, a lot of Europe is going to be destroyed. A lot of Europe is going to be destroyed because Europe is a cursed land. Okay, it's going to be destroyed. A lot of it is going to go underwater. That's going to happen. It has to be destroyed. And America, the American continent, have to be the savior once more. So don't let nobody fool you, man. Know what our land is and know who we are. We have always been the savior. We have always been the one where the world come to for rescue. When they're talking about the farming in Egypt and all that, that wasn't in Africa. No, they came into Egypt, into America. When farming was happening all over Europe, all over Africa, all over Asia, where did they come to? They came into the Americas for food. Don't let these people fool you, man. Don't let them fool you. That's where they had to come into the Americas. Why? Because we had it in bountiful. And they destroyed everything that we had. Alexandria, the original Alexandria, was in the Americas. It was in the Americas. And guess who destroyed it? The Muslims. The Moslems. They were the ones who destroyed it. Then you even had the Hindus who destroyed the civilizations of the Brahmins. So it was just a common practice of each civilization destroying the prior civilization. And then they take it, they destroy it, and they hold on to the knowledge, and they will pass it among themselves orally so that the rest of the people would be dumbified. Okay, so that the rest of the people could be dumbified. And of course, I hear a lot of people talking about, the Egyptians built the pyramids. No, they didn't. The pyramids have always been here. It was civilizations before the Egyptians that built the pyramids, even before them that built the pyramids. Okay, this is not our first round, man. We've been here. Okay, we've been here. So the pyramids, all the Egyptians did was they just learned how to operate the pyramids. Okay, that's all. But the pyramids were here before the Egyptians, which is the ancestors of a lot of our people. But people don't realize that. So all that talk about, oh, well, it started in Kemet and Kem means black. No, we gave y'all that culture. We gave it to y'all. We gave it to the black people down there. That's why it's called Kem. Okay, that's why it's called Kem. Kem means black. We passed on our civilization to the black people in Africa to create Kem. Okay, it did not start there. But the pyramids have always been here because why? It was used for solar energy. It was used for spiritual purposes. Even the mound builders in Mississippi, yes, they had indigenous people in Mississippi, but a lot of them actually came from the Yucatan, okay, and came up through Mississippi. So you'll have a lot of people in Mississippi, you know what I'm saying, in those places, the surrounding St. Louis, you'll have them, and they would have the same DNA with the Mayans, the same DNA with a lot of the Toltecs and those people. All those people were people of color, heavy melanated people. It was only later those people became lighter and lighter and lighter. And now you see this Aztec looking like Mexicans. These people are not the original people. They're not the original people. Yes, they are indigenous, but they are not original indigenous. I already broke that down because indigenous mean two things: to be born, and the other meaning is to be born and originating. It's two different meanings. It is two different meanings. So I hear a lot of people saying now that Sumeria was in the Americas, right? So when we're talking about Sumer and we're talking about the Sumerians and talking about even the Phoenicians, all those people for once, we know that those people were people of color, right? We know that for a fact. All right. But when we're talking about Sumer and the Sumerians, we are talking about a culture. Okay, we are talking about a culture. That's what it was. It was a culture. So that culture could have been anywhere. All right, meaning that the culture of that whole idea of what you call polytheistic gods, that was already existing in the Americas. It was already existing in the Americas. So when we're talking about Sumer, whether the original Sumer is in the Americas or it's not, that's kind of like not necessarily relevant. Because why? I'll tell you why. Gata. I'll tell you why, right? Because when we're talking about Sumer, we are only talking about one culture. So when you go back to the Anunnaki, you're talking about one culture. That was just their what's called mythology or symbology in terms of their creation story. So I always ask people, if you think that Anu or Sumer, those were the original gods, then what happened to the other cultures? Because they are not the first culture. That was just their own mythological story. All right. But what I do know is there were other cultures that pre-existed Sumer. The only difference is Sumer and the Sumerian text was the only one recorded. So I hope that makes sense. So whether Sumer was in the Middle East or was it in the Americas, for me, at least for me, that's irrelevant because it was just one culture. It was just one ethnic group or one nation, so to speak, of people. And Anu, Enki, Enlil, Marduk, Inanna, etc., 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 all those gods, they came from that culture. It doesn't mean that there were not other people with different cultures and with different gods. It was just that the Sumerian ones are the oldest ones that was actually recorded. Okay? So Anu is not the oldest god. Even Anu got a mother. Even Anu got a father. So I hope that makes sense. So I tell people I'm not going to debate whether Sumer was in the Americas or whether Sumer was actually in the Middle East, in Asia or Africa. I'm not going to debate that. All right, because that is not, I'm not well studied in that area to give you a definitive answer as to where exactly Sumer was. But however, I have studied enough to know that Sumer or the Sumerian culture was a culture while there were other cultures. And even Sumer took a lot of its stories from previous cultures and they created their own and then they recorded it. So therefore it became the first one on record. All right. But make no mistake, like I tell people, the original, what you call agreeable beings, the righteous beings, the first 9 ether beings that ever hit the planet, they were in the Americas for millions of years. And then the disagreeables fell to earth. Okay. And we kicked them out of the Americas. And that's when they went to create their world. All right. That's when they went to create their world. So when we came, that was the only world that was here. All right. So it was the old world. When we kicked them out of the Garden of Eden, the original Eden, then they went to create their own world. So you see all those stories, they're allegorical stories, but they hold some truth to it. So they went to create a new world. And when they built their new world, all right, that's the only world that many generations later knew. So when they came back into the Americas, even though America was the old world, to them it was new. But it was only their world that was new to us because we knew we were already in the old world. You feel me? And that's what really took place. So everything that you see, all the civilization, of course, people built on civilization, but I'm talking about the languages, the root of the languages, it all came from the Americas. Okay? Yes. Hold on for a second, Lineage. Nice, all right, do you think? Yeah, I'm about to leave that anyway. Yeah. Nice, cool.
Everybody wants to talk to them, electricians, plumbers.
Okay. All right. I'm back. All right. Just had to they get me some food right now because I'm actually on the live, so they get me some food. All right. But anyway, my brothers and sisters, man, I just want to say this, right? Just moving forward, yes, we still have to get into our birthright. You see, people don't realize that this whole concept of this birthright that you see in the Bible, it is all symbolic, it is all allegory. Okay. And people, and they want to trick you. Here's the trick. Okay. And that's why I tell people, man, you have to study to show thyself approved. These people want to trick you. Okay. They want to trick you into thinking that the Edomites are pale people, so-called white people. That's not true. Okay. And I already broke that down. All Edom means is ruddy. That's all Edom means is ruddy. Okay. That's what it means. Edom means copper colored. Adam means ruddy. Adam means copper colored. So now, one of my favorite words, I am putting these people in what's called a conundrum, because now if you say that Edom or the Edomites were so-called white people, then you have to admit that Adam was also a so-called white man, because Adam and the Edomites, Esau, they had the same complexion. Okay, they were both ruddy. You did. So when they're talking about the birthright, like I showed you the deception in the birthright, all that stuff is some truth to that. They came into the Americas and they stole our birthright. They stole our birthright, man. You feel me? Guess who did? Those people, the same people who call themselves the Jacobins, the Jacobites. The Jacobites, they are the Sephardic Jews. Okay, they are the Moors, they are the Blackamoors. Okay, they came into the Americas and stole our birthright. So don't let nobody fool you with the nonsense, man. Don't let them fool you with the nonsense. Okay? Don't let them fool you with that, because it's documented facts. It doesn't matter how far you go and trace these people where they came from. They came from Asia, they came from Europe, and they came from Africa. Okay? No type of association with the Americas, period. It was only after a point they came into the Americas. And they started building this, building their structures. They started, assimilating with the original indigenous people. And of course, when you start mixing with people, you're going to have children that's going to take, that's going to take part of each culture. You see what I'm saying? So now you're able to go back in the 1800s, in the 1700s, and see certain things that came from Europe, that came from Africa, that came from Asia. And they're going to say, oh, it was here. No, it came in, okay, in the 1700s, in the 1800s, in the 1600s. And like I said before, there's a group called the Melungeons. The Melungeons are actually Sephardic Jews, okay, and Moors. And some of them are mixed, all right? But a lot of them had blue eyes and gray eyes. But they had the dark complexion like Negroes, okay? And they came here in the early 1600s, They went to Canada. Okay, they came into the Americas, mixed in with indigenous people, and started calling those people, especially the Cherokee people, started calling them Anianwea. And like I told y'all before, Anianwea means the children of Yah. Okay, Sephardic Jews. They came here. That's why the church was pushing the false narrative that American Indians were the lost tribes of Israel. Okay, that was a propaganda that was being pushed by the church of those Sephardic Jews because they were people of color. Okay, so they were pushing that narrative. So they came up with the name Anianwea. However, Ani, they started off in South America because Ani is actually an indigenous bird in South America that they call Tupi. So Tupi now is a Portuguese word, but Ani is the original. So now they add Ani and Yanwea or Wea, meaning that the children of Yah. And I already gave you the breakdown of how they changed it to Cherokee. Okay, now let me show you what Ani means. Y'all think I don't know what I'm talking about? Like I tell people, man, I'm well studied. Don't play with me, man. Let me show y'all what Ani, the etymology of Ani, because I like to prove the things that I talk about. I like to prove the things that I talk about. It's like how you have Annie, you have Anu, you have Anna. Always remember this, right? A-E-I-O-U. Those are the vowels. The vowels are always interchangeable. So Ani, Anu, it is always going back to primeval, whether it's history, whether it's the gods, whatever the case is, it goes back into antiquity. So let me show you the etymology of Ani, so you could see where part of the Anianwea came from. Yeah, I'm gonna expose all this shit. Watch, because Ani is a black bird in South America. Let me show y'all. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me show you real quick, because I like to prove. So when this, you see, one of the reasons why I'm teaching you, when these people come with their false narratives, you have enough information to say, you know what, I heard that from that person, I heard that from that person. Now you're able to put a complete picture together, so you're able to shut them down. Let me show you what Ani actually means, the etymology of Ani. Okay, Ani, a black bird of the cuckoo family, native to what? American tropics. All right, particularly in South America, because the Portuguese from the word tupi. Okay, from the word tupi. So what they did was they used that indigenous bird, because remember, we used to name our tribes, our children with, from things in nature. So they took the Ani part, okay, which ties it into the Americas, all right, and then they add Anianwea or Wea to it, which means the children of Yah. So Anianwea basically means, if I were to literally break it down or dissect it, it would actually mean American children of Yah or Yahweh. Okay, because the Ani represents the black bird or the cuckoo family, which is actually indigenous to America. Okay, y'all think I don't know what I'm talking about? Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. So for all those of you that want to come on here and question my scholarship, man, listen, man, I don't have to go to no school to learn this. My ancestors guide me to all this, all of this. They gave it to me. They gave it to me. I can't make this up. Okay, so that's what Anianwea means, the children of Yah, period. Okay, so those were the Sephardic Jews, the colored people who came here and assimilated and married our women. And they got they created what's called an allodial title. So we had a matriarchal system. What does that mean? It means that land and property was passed down through the mother. Because why? It is always mother's baby, father's maybe. We always knew that was part of our culture, because part of the culture was men was going all over the place and having children and many different wives. And also women was also doing their little thing on the down low. You feel me? So sometimes the father was always a question, but we always knew that the child came from the mother. So we had a matrilineal society. Okay. Now, a lot of people are confusing matrilineal to mean that they were controlling men. That's not what it means. There was balance. Everybody played their role. Okay. So let's get that straight. Okay. So when the Sephardic Jews came in, they started going through what's called the Appalachian Mountains, through Canada, okay? Because they could not come, a lot of them could not come through South America because they were banned. They were being expelled. So they found a way to come in through Canada, through the Appalachian Mountains, down into the United States. And they started mixing with the indigenous people that are now called Cherokee, which I think one of the original names, if not the original name, is Katoa. Okay, so they started mixing with them, and they created a new faction of what so-called Cherokee called Anianwea. Now, those were the Sephardic Jews, the Moors, the Melungeons. Those were those people. Okay, and when they started bringing in the children, the pale children, then what they did was they started changing, ratifying the name. So supposedly the story is they met underneath a cherry tree, and they would meet indigenous people under what's called a creek by a cherry tree. And then they started calling them Cherry, and Cherry ended up being Cherokee. But no, Cherry is a code word for a transfer of power, a transfer of title. That's what Cherry meant. You see, people, like I said, people don't get it because they don't study that way. And it's okay. I'm not knocking you if you don't know, but I'm teaching you the truth. I'm giving you the facts. Okay? So now it was said that a secret group, a society, a secret society changed their name to Cherokee because they wanted to protect what they had from the white man. Now, let me ask you a question. Why would you change your name to Cherokee to protect what you had from the white man? And then you and your white brothers agreed to the name. Come on, man, it's a bunch of BS. That was a transfer of allodial title because they were intermarrying indigenous melanated, heavy melanated women. And once you do that, automatically you're part of the family. So now your children become heir. So even in the late 1800s, the 7 Cherokee chiefs that went to England to see in the 1800s to see King George, okay, guess what? Those people were Jews, but they were not even Sephardic Jews. They were semi-Jews because the transition was already taken over by their pale children. So this is deep, man. So people have to realize how this thing happened. It just didn't happen overnight, or the so-called white man came and beat everybody. No, it was their fathers that gave it to them because their fathers were already in bed with our mothers. Okay, the first so-called Jewish woman that came into the Americas period was in 1620 something, and she was a woman of color. But they were coming with their men. Even the French trappers, the Huguenots, they were coming with their men. Okay? Barack Obama he's part Huguenot. George Washington, Huguenot. Abraham Lincoln, part Huguenot. Because they were facing religious persecutions from their kings and queens, which were people of color. So when you go back to even George Washington, his family, his lineage from his mother, Martha, it goes back to his grandfather, John Ball, who was actually a revolutionist in England. And he alone, he gathered over 100,000 men because when they put him in jail, because what he stood for, he was a pastor, right? And then he himself, in his own words, said he was, they want us to be slaves and they want us to eat this, dog food while they're in their palace and all that. They were talking about those black noble kings. So they arrested George Washington's grandfather, and then guess what? 100,000 so-called black men went and broke him out of jail. And on their way to London, they literally killed every lawyer in sight. You see, people don't know what's going on, man. I'm well studied. Now, I'm not saying I'm aware of everything, but what is pertinent to the information to debunk all the nonsense, trust me, I know the truth. So George Washington came from a family or a lineage of people that was already fighting tyranny. So when they came into when his father came into the Americas in the 1600s, he was already in position. They already knew who he was. Okay? But even before him, there were people of color that were presidents of the 13th of the 13 colonies when they had the Bill of Rights, before they had the first official United States Constitution. Those presidents were men of color. Okay? Abraham Lincoln, man of color. Abraham Lincoln, vice president. Hannibal. Hannibal was a mulatto, a man of color again. But his story will not tell you the truth. Okay, so when we're talking about Salem, right? Salem, really, you have to, those names go all the way back to England. So you had what's called the Salem witches, right? During the King James time, when he wrote his book called Demonology, right? Where he was talking about, witches and all these things. So that whole concept of Salem came from Britain, because a lot of those people came here, they were practicing, the same witchcraft. So I'm assuming, since it came from, and again, it's an assumption, I'm not saying that I'm completely correct with that, okay? But when they came from England, they brought that name with them, and they established, Salem, just like how Virginia was came from one of the names of one of the first European women, Sephardic European women, Jewish women that came here into the Americas. So all those names, Elizabeth, all those names that you see, Jamestown, all those names that you see, especially they were very proud of their women. Okay, so what they used to do, they used to name all those different places in honor of their women. But Salem goes back all the way to London, England. All right, and when they came here, those people that came, they were practicing, witchcraft. So I'm assuming, once again, since it was associated with witchcraft in London, that's the reason why they name it Salem out here. But once again, that's an assumption. Okay, I'm not too sure on that. That I would have to do more research on. But since that was their practice and that's what they did, I'm assuming that was the reason why. You feel me? So we have to know our story, man. We have to know and stop allowing these people to play games with us, telling us we are anything other than who we are. Once again, never let them take away American Indian from us. I'll tell you why. Okay? Because American Indian is very, very, very important. And that's why Barack Obama had to change it to Native American, because Native American literally creates a whole new category of people. Okay? So because it's not politically correct to call Native Americans American Indians, because they are not the American Indians that were here in 1492. They were not the people that was taken to Europe. Okay? And I have so many ways to entrap them in the lies. All right? They were not the people that were taken to Europe, as the 4 million and more people that were enslaved all over the Americas. They were not those people. Okay? They were not those people. You feel me? So with that being said, a Native American had to be created to separate American Indian from Native American. Okay? Because we are the American Indians. And the reason why we should keep it that way and honor being American Indians, even if it is still a misnomer, is because it is tied into the Northwest Ordinance, and it's also in the Constitution. So anytime we give up American Indian, we are giving up our constitutional rights. You see what you see, my brothers and sisters? So they were slick. They put a man who looked like us to take away American Indian away from us and say, oh, well, now it's going to be Native American because it's disrespectful to call them American Indians. No, it's not. I am an American Indian. I am an American Indian, and I'm proud to be that. Okay? So slowly but surely, they are erasing our identity, and they are taking our birthright, because our birthright have been infringed upon for hundreds of years. So when you're looking at the pale man talking about, oh, well, the pale man enslaved us and it's the white man's system and this and that. No, it's not. Okay. The system belongs to those black devils. They just put their pale children as the gatekeeper. So they divert your attention away from them. The black boule is still here. The black caucus is still here. Okay. And a lot of them in the black caucus, guess what? They are also indigenous as well, but they are also part and parcel with, the black nobles from Europe. That's why they call themselves Black Caucus. The black part of that represents those that came from Europe, the black nobility. And the Caucasus part comes from the indigenous Algonquin part of their family. Okay, let me give you the proof again, because I've already shown y'all what Caucasus means. But you know what, Chief? They think you don't know what you're talking about. So let us go. Let me show you again. Okay, let me show you again. And I've shown it to you before, but I'm going to show it to you again. I'm going to show it to you again. Y'all think I'm playing, huh? All right, let's watch. Black Caucasus. The Black Caucasus. All right, let me show you. And I've already connected the dots, but I'm going to show you again. Etymology of Caucasus. Etymology of Caucasus. Let us go look at it just for the purpose of this video, because it's been a few years since I've gone over this, right? And I still have the videos on YouTube, but let me show you what Caucasus means and the origin of the term Caucasus. Let me show it to you. Yep, the rabbit hole is deep, but trust me, I've gone through the belly of the beast of this rabbit. I promise you. Okay, look, let me show y'all the etymology of the word Caucasus. Here we go. Caucus, private meeting of party leaders or local voters, 1763. American English, New England, perhaps for what? An Algonquin word. It came from the Algonquin word Caucasu. Okay, all right? Caucasu, which means a counselor, an elder, and an advisor. In what? In the dialect of Virginia, my brothers and sisters. Okay, or from the Caucus Club of Boston, the Tea Party. Okay, that time back then. So it came from, also when you go back, possibly derived from the Greek word cuckoos. Okay, so when you look at the Seminole, the Creeks, all those people are mixed with the Greeks, because a Creek is a Greek. But you see, y'all, man, listen, man. I tell people, I don't know how many people are ready for this. All right, but that's what Caucasus means. So when you so you have the Black Caucus is a culmination of indigenous men and women, okay, that are actually in bed with the black nobles of Europe. That's why they are called the Black Caucus. The black represents the black nobility of Europe, and the caucus represents the elders, the advisors of the indigenous people from Virginia and possibly Boston, Massachusetts, okay, where the first company was set up in Virginia. That's what Black Caucus means. Okay, so I could shut all the ignorance down. People talking, oh, well, you're not well studied enough. Let me tell you, man, listen, let anybody come test me. Like I said, I have enough knowledge in my head. I'm a walking library, okay, to shut a lot of things down. And I'm still learning. Just imagine when my knowledge increase, I'll be dangerous. I'm already dangerous. Okay. Let me tell you something. Me and my brother in Jersey, just the two of us alone, we actually wrote a 3-page document, and we shut down the entire state of Jersey, just me and him alone, with a 3-page document. A 3-page document. We shut down everything, where they were literally stalking me, stalking him. That's how dangerous I am, but in a good way. You feel me? So when y'all talking to me, like I said, man, show some respect. Okay, I've put in this work. Okay, so that's why the Black Caucus is in place. The Black Caucus, once again, is a treaty of those two, indigenous and black nobles, all right, to keep the pale man in check. So you think the pale man is actually in control, but no, the Black Caucus is in control. Okay, they are in control, and you're reaching out to the Black Caucus to do things for you. No, they ain't got your back. Okay, that's not their job. Their job is to be the gatekeepers that's protecting, okay, the gatekeepers, which is the pale man. Okay, the Black Caucus, they are still in control of the republic. Don't let nobody fool you. They are still in control of the 13 colonies that were set up. Okay, my auntie's calling me from England. I'll call her back. Hey, auntie, I'm gonna call you back. Okay, I'm gonna call you right back. Okay. Okay. All right. Love you. Yeah. That's my aunt calling me from London. You know what I mean? So, like I said, man, we as American Aborigines, we have to be very mindful who we are actually trying to link up with and trying to be a part of, to like be a part of us. We are not trying to be a part of anybody. They have always been trying to be a part of us. Okay? So once again, same thing. You got Native Americans trying to tell us that we are Indians because of them. No, they are Indians because of us. All right? And here's something even funny. All right? These black Europeans that came here, they have more American Indian blood in them than these Native Americans. I promise you that. I'm going to repeat that again. And I'm giving you facts over feelings. This black, whether they came from Africa, Asia, or Europe, these black people that came into the Americans as servants or slaves, whatever you want to call them, the majority of them came from Europe. Okay? I promise you, they have more American Indian blood in them than these natives. The majority of these natives became Indians on paper only. Only on paper. Okay, they are paper Indians. And that's facts. Okay? They are paper Indians. They are treaty Indians. They are ratified treaty Indians. Okay? They are constitutional Indians. But these black devils that came from Europe, they have more of our blood in them than these Native Americans. That's why Native Americans, you'll see their chiefs. Okay? Their chiefs will have 132nd, 142 Indian. What? Where they do that at? What does that mean? You're 129th Indian, but you're a chief? Hold up. That doesn't make sense. That's why you see all of them are pale, because they are not American Indians. They are native only on paper. Paper genocide. The pen is mightier than the sword. Because they couldn't beat us physically. So what they had to do, the pale man, I mean, those black devils, they were the ones who literally orchestrated everything. And then once everything was orchestrated, the manipulation, the lies, all that stuff, what they did was now they handed it over by ratifying those treaties. Okay, they ratified those treaties and they gave it over to their pale children to make you think that the pale man is your true enemy. Okay, so like I said, in 2023, it's all about spirituality right now. If you focus on the flesh, you're going to get lost. All right, so continue to ask your higher self to guide you to the truth. Okay, to guide you to the truth, because those people and their bloodline, they are still amongst us, walking around trying to tell us we're everything else than who we are. Okay, they will give you any other name. Oh, well, American Indian is a misnomer, but this is what we was called. No, you don't know what we were called because you are not us. Don't tell us what we were called. Okay, we are American Indians, damn it. We accepted that. Why? Because it was under that misnomer that we signed all those treaties, and those treaties were not signed with Native Americans. They were signed with the Negro Indians of the Americas. So stop playing the game. Okay. So anyway, I'm about to get off this live. Just wanted to come here and drop a little bit of info. So in conclusion, all right, let us stop trying to let every so-called black person come together. It's not going to happen. So it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. It wasn't like that in the beginning. Okay. Unless, you know, everybody just disappear and we start over. Okay. It started first with the righteous people that came here to earth until the unrighteous fell. Okay. And then they started mixing, all right, with the righteous seeds. And that's why we have all this confusion today. So how do you tell who is who? You have to get into your spiritual arsenal to start seeing through people, see past the flesh, because trust me, they are good and they will tell you a good story. All right. They will tell you a good story so that you could ignore everything your grandmama told you. They'll tell you a good story so that you could turn your back on your own indigenous lineage. just so you could accept something else. And it's all right. You know what? Many of us fell victim to that. That's fine because we were seeking. You feel me? But when you find the truth, it's hard to divert. It's hard to go back to the lies and the false information. It is very, very hard. All right. That's why the truth will always stand. All right. So we have to continue reaching out to our righteous ancestors to continue to show us the way and bring us together, the righteous ones. Is the only way it's going to happen. Now, does that mean one or two unrighteous beings, they won't try to infiltrate? That's not what it means. They will make an attempt. And does it mean they wouldn't come in? They will come in, but they will not do the damage that you think they'll do because our ancestors will not allow that. You feel me? They will not allow that. So when I come back, in from England in July, I'm gonna come back and get back into nation building. But like I said, it's gonna be all over the Americas. It is time. All right, because all the changes that's taking place. Hold on for 1 second. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep, here you go. Open up the door. Yep. And I'm about to go eat my lunch right now. But my brothers and sisters, listen, man, I love y'all. All right, I love y'all. And for me, I'm an individual. I'm about love. But people have to realize that there's duality. All right. Anyway, yes, I'll keep everybody posted, man. And so I'm gonna go eat something right now. Like I said, I'm sending, much love and respect to all the righteous people. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you look like. Because like I said, I know what age we are living in right now. We are living in the solar cycle right now. And that solar cycle means that a lot of people are going to be burned out. Don't think a lot of you so-called black devils are going to survive this purge. You're not, because the sun it has nothing to do with the physical purging. It's going to purge y'all out. Okay. All you devils are going to be purged out. I don't care what you look like. Okay. So I'm going to be dealing and working with the righteous, and that's it. So we could stand up against tyranny and the evil of this world. And that's where I'm at. You feel me? So I love y'all. Enjoy the rest of your continuation, and we'll talk soon. Thank you for being a part of this build. One love, respect, yeah? All right.